you for joining today's webinar. Today we're going to talk about tips for running heat. So overall in Texas and summertime, it just kind of beats on us. So I'm going to talk about ways to make the most out of your running experience during the summer. And so, you know, my name is Holly Greer. I'm a certified personal trainer and wellness coordinator at Baylor Scott & White Health. And if you have any questions afterwards, you just let me know. So this webinar, we're going to talk about a few different things, but really going to be answering 3 different questions. And so we're going to be exploring what happens to your body when you run and some warning signs. So what you need to watch out for. And last but not least, we're going to explore ways to maximize your training during the hot season. So a little more of a positive ending there. So the first we are exploring is what happens to your body. And the reason I want to explore this is because I want this to be more of an encouragement rather than a negative way. So I want you to see all of the things that happen in the heat and know that realistically, you know, it's okay to need to walk in the summer or need to slow down, or you know, maybe you aren't going to have your best time. So look at all of these things that happen to your body and just know that, hey, a lot of stuff working against me, and it makes sense. It makes sense why I'm more tired today than I normally am when I run in the spring. So that's kind of the positive look I want you to have about these things. What we're going to look at is, since Texas, we do have to deal with humidity, and it really does affect our body's ability to cool off. So any your body gets hot or you're working your muscles that create heat, body will begin to sweat. And so through those sweat glands, they release moisture, and when that gets on your skin, the body evaporates, or that moisture evaporates off your skin, and that's your body's way of cooling off. And so anytime we bring humidity into the picture, it really, really hurts that evaporation. So one thing I want to point out is when you have children, they're really producing or have produced sweat glands at a young age. So just to kind of be cautious and just know that they can't cool off as well as we can. But in the humidity, we can't cool off as well as we need to or as well as we're used to. So that's kind of an aspect in looking at how evaporation is really suppressed during that process. The thing you want to think about is your VO2 max decreasing. And so your VO2 max is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can take in. And it's obviously really good for a runner to have a great VO2 max because, you know, the more oxygen you have in, the more oxygen gets to those working muscles and the better they work. So VO2 max decreasing really does hurt us when we really decide about our workload and are not really going to perform as well. So typically just know that when you get out in the heat, that your body's not going to be able to perform as well because you're not going to be able to consume as much oxygen as you normally do. So keep in mind. What happens is your blood is really working harder. So if you take a look at the pictures I have here, anytime you're in a colder environment, and what I mean by cold is anything 50 degrees and lower is usually a more optimal time for running. But typically when you're in a colder environment, your body is reserving some of its blood, and it's not really making your blood travel as much to the surface as it would in a warm environment. And the reason for that is because another way for your body to release some of that heat is through radiation. So, you know, convection also. So your body is going to send more blood to the surface and heat that way. And that the reason why this is not good for your working muscles is because that means less blood goes to them. That's kind of how your performance will be hurt by the heat as well, just because you're getting less, which means, again, less oxygen. This is kind of why you get red in the face or your body turns red. And this is, again, another indicator for children because, they don't have those sweat glands, and they're really trying to lose a lot of heat through radiation and convection. And so that's why you always got to watch their face and know when they get hot. But know that your blood is working harder in the heat. And then another thing that happens is obviously dehydration. So knowing that your body is made up 60% of water, that's also taken into consideration some of those extracellular fluids in there and surrounding a lot of your cells in your blood plasma. So kind of when you go in a ripple effect of dehydration, you're ultimately losing some blood volume in there. And again, that kind of goes back to your cardiac output, and there are some ways you can train and increase your cardiac output, your VO2 max, and that could be some interval training, some simple runs, fartleks, hill repeat, always incorporating some of those workouts into your weekly training. Really increase your blood volume and your cardiac output and your VO2 max. Just keeping dehydration is a real thing, and your body is made of water a lot, so you kind of need to hydrate, and it's going to happen. So things that happen to your body while running in the heat. Let's talk about some warning signs. So these are going to be things that you really need to watch out for, and just know how to read your body and understand what it needs and what it's saying. So if you get any of these symptoms here, know that can mean that you're getting overheated or just effects of running in the heat in general. So muscle cramps can happen, and that also can happen just from dehydration. And, something that's indicated a lot when you're running in the heat. Heat shock, that's a huge, huge caution. Know that, hey, if I'm starting to feel chills, or if I'm starting to if I stop sweating, that's a huge indicator you need to stop running and get some water. Blisters and chafing, these all kind of come with running in the heat and with sweating a lot. Probably encouragement would be to make sure you have the right shoes on and the right socks and clothes. You always want to wear protection for your skin. Wear sunblock, and make sure you get the sport one so that it won't sweat off. And then with chafing, they make different products there called Body Glide and things like that. You can put on your eye, or I always chafe under my armpit in the heat. And that's really indicated because your body is going to be more moist, and so same with the clothes that you're wearing. So it kind of brings on some chafing. But I will say that I found that deodorant works best for me to chafing. So I kind of apply it like you would any kind of other, anti-chafing ingredient, but I just kind of put deodorant on my inner thighs and under my arms, and it works great for me, and I love it because it serves a dual purpose, and I don't have to buy another product. So that's what I do. But always just know that you need to acclimate your body to the heat. If this is new for you, running in the heat, and you usually never get out in the heat, it's going to take your body a while to really get acclimated, and it may never. So just know that you need to always remember to watch out for warning signs and stay well hydrated. That ways you can beat the heat. So we're going to talk about some tips on how to maximize your training during that hot time. The best tips I have for you is really finding a grading route that kind of beats the heat. So if you have your favorite running route that is done a ton of the way and there's no breeze, you might think about changing it up for the summer. So if you have your route that's in more shaded areas, it's going to be way cooler and better for your body to cool off. And if there is a breeze, which there may not be, but if there is a breeze, try to maybe strategically place it against you on the last part of your run so that you get a little extra cooling agent. And obviously something you need while you run. So there's a couple of ways you can go at it. Is you can have a pool that has water fountains on it. This is the park I run at a lot of times, and they do have water fountains throughout, which I love. So I get to stop there and I don't have to carry anything. Sometimes you're off the course, and I do have a water bottle that I can hold. And so I bought it at REI, but I don't want them up anywhere, and it attaches to your hand, and so it's easier to carry. And another tip I have is if I'm going for a long run, I really don't want to carry anything. Instead, drive out on my scheduled route, and I will hide my Gatorade in the bushes. And when I get to that place, my course, I will kind of fight and drink it. So there's ways to get around it. If you don't feel like that's a safe way, then I would always look for water fountains. When I was in college, I used to run to CVS, and I would go and use their water fountain and then take off running again. So, creative with your run. And then just know that concrete is going to reflect more heat than grass will. So if you can run on grass, it will also be better for your joints. But it's also going to be cooler. So strategic with your planning. And as you all know, running in the early morning is going to be cooler. But I found this really cool chart here, and it's from Runner's World, but it gives you a perception of how realistic your run's going to be or your time in general. So just know that, like I said before, 50 degrees is a really good place for a runner, and that's when you can have some personal records. But on the chart, if you look down at 75 degrees or greater, which we have every day now, it's going to be very difficult, and you will need to alter your goal. And I think it doesn't just say alter your goal, it says dramatically alter your goal. So know that in the summer, it's just scientifically for you to keep up with your regular goals. So don't discourage. I know somebody, and they once said, a swimmer makes for a fast fall. So just you need to be realistic with your time, and it'll catch up. Come fall, you're going to be glad that you kept training. The core, I cannot express how important this is for running and in the heat. Find something that's light colored, and the thing is make sure it's a technical fabric. And what I mean by this is it's one fabric that's moisture wickening, and it draws moisture away from your skin and allows your body to cool off faster. You know what we were talking about with and it really affects your body's ability to evaporate that sweat. So make sure you're wearing some fabrics that pull that away. Some other words for that, I know Nike, they call it dry fit. So I kind of shop for that. I want very cheap with my running clothes. I do not care if they match brands. So I get all my running clothes from discount stores like Ross, Marshalls. I love Academy's brand of running clothes. I think they're really made and they're pretty cheap. So just make sure you're getting the right stuff. And a little tip is if you do have something that's a technical for it, hang it dry and don't throw it in the dryer with a dryer sheet. And that is because the dryer sheet actually will clog up some of the moisture wickening parts of that fabric, and defeating the purpose. Hang it to dry if you can. Last but not least, my tip would be hydration. And so I'm going to talk some scientific and reason some hard numbers here, but stay with me. I promise it all makes sense. You want to rehydrate 100% of all your sweat loss during the exercise and then 50% after. So 100% sounds like a lot. I mean, you sweat a lot, so that's a lot to rehydrate. And 1 pound of sweat equals 16 ounces of fluid that you need to drink. And you're like, well, how do I know? I challenge you to weigh yourself before you get off running and then weigh yourself when you get back. And what that's going to do is it's going to tell you about how much fluid or sweat you lose during your run. In that number, you can really decide how many ounces you need to be drinking while you're running. So, for example, if I weigh myself before I take off and then I weigh myself when I get back, I lost 3 pounds. So you both know that that is all water weight. And from that, I actually will dehydrate. That's about 48 ounces, 100%. So I'm going to say about 32 ounces of water is something I need to drink during my run. And I know that sounds crazy, but it kind of shows that during these summer times, you really do need to stop at those water fountains and you carry some water and know that it's going to be a slower time and you're not going to be as efficient because you do need to stop. Any fluids contain carbs and electrolytes. They do appear to have an advantage over plain water, especially for your post-workout recovery. Running any further than 45 minutes, they need to replenish those carbs during the race anyway. So when I was mentioning earlier, during long runs, I'll hide Gatorade. Gatorade has those carbs and electrolytes that I'll need. But if you're running less than 40 minutes, you really don't have to worry about the carbs. But this is a lot, and I know that you're wondering, how are you going to incorporate your run? And a lot of pro athletes, and what they'll do is they'll try to measure out what does it drink, for them. If they're at a water fountain and they take 1 gulp, they want to know how they're getting. So just kind of step back and think, okay, if I take 1 big gulp of this water, I just had 3 ounces. So that during your run, I need 10 big gulps, and it'll be a little more simple. But rule of thumb is to drink 16 to 20 ounces of water every hour during the day that you plan on being in the heat. If you plan on running later, make sure you're drinking 16 ounces of water an hour. And next to you more than 3 gallons. But just try to hydrate yourself throughout the day. That's going to help you to that running, and you're dehydrated, and it's going to help you perform better. I just want to encourage you to be smart and know your limits. And I know I mentioned all the things that happen in your body and all the things you need to watch out for. And I just want to stress to be careful. And if you're getting too hot, stop. Just be safe. And most of though, have fun. Have your run. And if you have any other questions in the heat, or you want to ask me any other questions about any other running techniques, but thanks for joining today's webinar, and I appreciate it.